Popular monster.
Hey there, welcome to my second ever how to play video. With this video, you can teach yourself how to play my acoustic cover of Popular Monster by the band Falling in Reverse. This particular cover happens to be the most viewed video on my channel, by a lot. And well, there were a couple people in the comments that were asking about tabs, so I figured this would be a great second installment of my new How to Play series. That being said, first I'll be breaking down how to play each section of the song. Then, you can play along to a click track and view on-screen tablature. The song has two parts and we'll be going over both in this video. Your guitar's gonna need to be tuned to standard, so if you're ready, let's jump into it.
Popular monster.
Alright, let's get started with guitar 1. There are really only two main parts to this song, the verse and the chorus. So let's break these parts down a little bit, starting with the verse. For the verse, it's essentially just one riff repeated over, with a slight variation every once in a while. But the main flow of the riff is this. There are a total of 8 notes, but to make it easier, let's split it into two groups of 4 notes. For the first group, your hand starting position is to make a power chord with your index finger on the 6th fret of the A string, your ring finger on the 8th fret of the D string, and your pinky on the 8th fret of the G string. Then, you'll pick each string individually in this order. A, G, D. And while you're picking the third note, move your pinky diagonally to the 9th fret of the D string, then play that as the 4th note. For the second group of notes, your starting hand position will be to place your index finger on the 9th fret of the A string and your pinky on the 11th fret of the D string. These will be your next two notes. To finish, with your fingers in the same pattern, slide your hand down 1 fret so your index is on the 8th fret of the A string and your pinky is on the 10th fret of the G string. So that's the flow of the riff, and if you play both parts together, it'll sound like this. As I mentioned earlier, every once in a while, as you're playing through the verse, there'll be a variation of this riff. For these variations, you'll play the first group of notes the same, and just change the second group of notes. So with your hand in group 2's starting position, you'll play these 3 notes. The 9th fret of the A string, the 11th fret of the G string, then the 10th fret of the G string. Then follow that by resting for 1 count. Now, putting all the pieces of the puzzle together, the verse will sound like this. Now that we've covered the verse, let's go over the chorus. The chorus is built up of 4 power chords that move down the neck. All the chords share the same finger pattern, just at different locations of the neck. Your hand starting position is to place your index finger on the 6th fret of the A string, your ring finger on the 8th fret of the D string, and your pinky on the 8th fret of the G string. Then I like to place my middle finger very lightly on the low E string to mute any accidental strumming from ringing out. Try your best to just strum the 3 strings your fingers are on though. As for the strumming pattern, it'll be down, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up. And it'll sound like this. You'll play each chord 1 time through the strumming pattern before moving on to the next. For the second chord, again, keeping your fingers in the same pattern, slide your hand down the neck so your index finger is on the 4th fret of the A string, then repeat the strumming pattern. Next, slide your hand down so your index finger is on the 2nd fret of the A string. Then for the last chord, move your hand down 1 more fret so your index finger is on the 1st fret of the A string. Play through the chorus 1 more time, using the same strumming pattern and chords. But this time, when you get to the last chord, replace the final down-up strums with a rest instead. It'll sound like this.
Popular monster.
I originally recorded this song at 148 BPM, but for learning purposes, let's slow it down to 118. There will be 8 counts leading into the first measure, then you'll start. Give it a try. Now that we've gone over guitar 1, let's get started with the second guitar. Guitar 2 has 3 main parts: the verse, the pre-chorus, and the chorus. With that being said, let's break down each section in the order they are played, starting with the first verse. Verse 1 is super simple as it's really only one strum of a single chord towards the end of the verse. There are actually 20 measures of rest before this chord is even played. So on the first count of measure 21 is when you'll strum this chord. The finger pattern for this chord is actually the same as the first chord of the chorus, that being your index finger on the 6th fret of the A string, your ring finger on the 8th fret of the D string, and your pinky on the 8th fret of the G string. This chord is held out for 4 measures, at which point the pre-chorus will start. Moving on to the pre-chorus, it's built up of 3 power chords. These chords are the same as the first 3 chords of the chorus, but in reverse order. So your hand starting position will be to place your index finger on the 2nd fret of the A string, your ring finger on the 4th fret of the D string, and your pinky on the 4th fret of the G string. This first chord is strummed a total of 16 times with an alternating down-up pattern. For the second chord, while keeping your fingers in the same pattern, slide your hand up the neck so your index finger is on the 4th fret of the A string. Using the same alternating down-up pattern, strum this chord 8 times. For the final chord of the chorus, again, while keeping your fingers in the same pattern, slide your hand up so your index finger is on the 6th fret of the A string. Strum this chord 5 times, and on that 5th strum, quickly mute the strings after so they don't ring out. After that, there will be 1 count of rest leading into the chorus. So in full, the pre-chorus will sound like this. After the pre-chorus comes the chorus. I won't waste time breaking it down again because it's exactly the same as guitar 1's chorus. So if you need a quick refresher on that, jump back to that point of the video. With that being said, let's move on to the second verse. Similar to the first verse, verse 2 starts with a long stretch of resting measures. Then after 13 measures of not playing anything, a single chord is strummed and held out for 8 more measures. This chord is the same as the first verse. So your index finger on the 6th fret of the A string, your ring finger on the 8th fret of the D string, and your pinky on the 8th fret of the G string. After the 8 measures pass, we'll be alternating between 2 different chords. The first of these chords is the same one we just held out. Your strumming pattern will be down, down, up, down, up, 2 times through. The second chord's fingering is the same. Just slide your hand up so your index finger is on the 9th fret of the A string. Then repeat the same strumming pattern. After that, slide your hand back down to the previous hand position and repeat the strumming pattern. This time adding an extra down strum at the end, but be sure to mute it quickly after so it doesn't ring out. Then we rest for the rest of this measure and then the next one. Two, three, four. 1, 2, 3, 4. After this rest, repeat those first 2 chords again with the same strumming pattern. After strumming through that second chord, it jumps back into the pre-chorus. Playing this section in full sounds like this. Two, three, four. 1, 2, 3, 4. From here we'll play through the pre-chorus, then the chorus one more time. This time when you get to the end of the chorus, add one final strum of that first chord you play in the chorus, and that will be your outro. Hold it out until the end of the song.
Popular monster.
As I mentioned earlier, there are 20 measures of rest before guitar 2 comes in. For this playthrough though, I've decided to cut those measures out to speed things up. There will now be an 8-count lead in, then you'll jump straight into the verse. Give it a shot. I hope you found this video helpful and you're now able to play my acoustic cover of Popular Monster on your guitar. If there's a specific cover I've done on my channel in the past and you'd like to see me do this kind of video for it, go ahead and let me know in the comments below. Until then, we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.